Welcome back to Dragonfall. We've mourned the passing of Paul. Now we're going to go take a look at the optical chip that we got from Alice. Hope that it leads us in the right direction. Why do I have a climb down prompt this time? Is there someone to talk to down here? What? Why is this back unlocked again? I don't know why destroy all humans is scribbled there. That's interesting. Excuse me. Well. Dante, what's up with you? Back to being a definitely totally normal dog? Dante lifts his head and looks up at you mournfully. The feral aggression is gone from his eyes. He's changed, you can see it, but he's still Dante. So, Alice, Dante was very helpful out there, but I'm a bit concerned about his... Don't worry about it, Dietrich. It's under control. If you say so. He's not a normal dog, not by a long shot. Is he possessed? I assume you've checked his aura and discovered he's part hellhound. Monica trained him for months to be combat ready. We had a hellhound in the house and Monica didn't tell us? For months? Alice has him under control. Dante performed well in the field, followed commands flawlessly. I have no concerns. Dante stays with me. Where I run, he runs. Alright. Let's take a look at the mission computer here. Read the contents of Alice's optical chip. He sought the optical chip into the computer's waiting chip jack. On the screen, Alice's office blossoms into view. A half-second later, a real-time simulation of Alice appears, seated behind her mahogany desk. Something about it reminds you of a figure from a wax museum, lifelike but dead inside. It greets you with a facsimile of Alice's joyless smile. Customer name, Alice Omarta. Its voice is hollow, synthetic, an automaton masquerading as a living woman, one who you've never even met in the flesh. Account number, 1012579. Greetings, valued customer. I am an offline simulacrum of the Alice persona. I have been included on this chip to answer any questions that you may have about your information purchase. Nifty piece of tech. Not now, Blitz. If you are ready to proceed, I will present Alice's findings. You may interrupt this presentation at any point by saying, Alice, I have a question. We're ready. Let's get this show on the road. Very well. Commencing presentation. The simulacrum goes rigid for a moment, then seems to relax. When it speaks, it sounds more natural, as though the real Alice is speaking through it. Alright, Alice, I've got good news for you and I've got bad news. Let's start with the good news. I found Valclaire and he is alive. Thank God. The trail to your missing doctor was a long and slippery one. The fee that you paid me barely covered my costs for the job. I sent a team into the Sox on a fact-finding mission. I bribed government officials. I greased the palms of wage slaves at megacorps all across Europe. Each step I took eliminated possibilities, drew me a little bit closer, and finally I found the place where Valclaire is being held. The simulacrum makes a sweeping gesture with its right hand, and an image switchblades onto the screen. A grainy overhead photograph, annotated with map coordinates. You recognize it immediately. This is where you'll find him. He's being held captive at a remote estate called the Hartfell Manor. You've got to be kidding me. He was there the whole time? Glory says nothing. She just studies the photograph and nods. Okay, nobody tell me. I get it. This is something else that I missed. Alice, I have a question. The simulacrum hitches again, and you feel the life drain out of it. It looks up at you robotically. You have a question. All right. Please make your inquiry now. You said that Valclair is being held at the estate. What evidence did you turn up to support that? One of my assets is Transys Neuronet provided me with a video feed dated 2053-1010. The feed was taken by a corporate surveillance drone. Playback commencing. The screen is filled with grainy black and white video feed. A grainy black and white video feed. You recognize the heartfelt manner photographed from high above. The camera pushes in and the image sharpens. Through a barred ground level window, you see the shape of a stooped, emaciated figure. His body shows clear signs of neglect. The figure is unmistakable. It's Valclair, 20 years older and worse for wear. His skin hangs loose on his bones and his cheeks are hollow. There is a distinctly gray pallor to his skin. That's Valclair, all right. What's left of him, anyway. Doesn't look like they've been feeding him much. He shakes his head. Poor bastard. Another figure steps into the frame behind Valclair. An orc. He turns his head slightly, and his skin grafts catch the light. Valclair slowly turns to face Aldrin, and the video feed cuts out. The simulacrum stares at you impassively. Do you have another question? What else did you turn up about the Hardfell Manor? Seismological data and thermal imaging confirm the existence of a large hollow chamber under the estate. It is my suspicion that Dr. Valclair is being held somewhere within this substructure. If Fierschwing has kept Valclair trapped there for almost 20 years, she's got to have a reason for it. It takes effort and resources to lock a man away for that amount of time. So what's her endgame in all of this? Why not just kill him and be done with it? Malice? Revenge? Who knows? Remember, this was the man who shot her down. He sent her crashing into a radioactive wasteland. If somebody did that to me, I'd want to hurt him too, and I'd make it last. I think it goes deeper than that. According to Winter's DVD, Valclair designed the experimental weapon that shot her down, and that weapon split her body from her essence. Glory glances down at her own steel and chrome arms and suppresses a shudder. If I had to guess, I'd say that she's trying to make him fix whatever he did to her. That's what makes sense to me. There is a moment of silence as the group processes Glory's suggestion. Before anyone can speak, the simulacrum cuts back in. Do you have another question? No more questions. Let's get on to the bad news. Very well. Feel free to interrupt again with any future inquiries. The simulacrum pauses, and a brief tremor washes over its body. Its eyes flutter, and you can hear the sound of your computer working to process more of the chip's data. Iger turns to address the team. If Valclair's at Harfeld, we've got problems. The last time we broke into that place, they took Monica out. It was a miracle that any of you got out alive. Yeah, but now we know what's down there. This time we'll be prepared for it. We can handle this. Iger shakes her head. No. It'll be even worse this time. The first time we went in, we had the element of surprise on our side, but now they'll be expecting us. They're hunting us, remember? Their security team is going to be waiting for us, Dietrich. That Aldrin bastard is going to be waiting for us. And even if we make it past them, we're going to have to deal with the dragon in the basement. Well, what else can we do? Cut and run? The last time I checked, that wasn't an option either. Even if it were, I wouldn't take it. I'm not running from this. Not after what they did here tonight. None of us are, Glory, but Iger's right. We can't go charging in there again. Not without some kind of edge. The simulacrum jerks back to life. It resumes speaking, blissfully unaware of the conversation that it's cutting off. And now, Alice, on to the bad news. You now know where Valclair is, but rescuing him will not be possible. Alice, I have a question. He continues without waiting for a response. Why the hell not? In the course of my investigation, I encountered something terrifying in the Matrix. It was fast, cunning, and definitely intelligent. I'm convinced that I only escaped because it let me go. It could have killed me in a heartbeat if it wanted to. This thing that I met is protecting Harfeld Manor. and it's going after everyone who gets too close to what's happening there. Alice, what did you see in there? What is going on after... What is going on... Wait. What is going after these people? By way of explanation, I would like you to read the following document. The simulacrum makes another sweeping gesture, and the menu slides back onto the screen. This time it is filled with text. What you are looking at is an archived forum discussion from the early days of the Shadowland BBS. Blitz stares at the text on the screen. It isn't kidding, Chief. This discussion is dated back to 2036. That's ancient history in the decking community. It probably isn't even correct to call these guys deckers. Hackers would be the more appropriate term. When you're finished reading it over, say, Alice, I'm done, and we can continue. Read the archive discussion. As you lean in to read, the text slowly begins to scroll up from the bottom of the screen. You hear about the SK team that got crisped a few hours ago? A whole lab's worth of researchers, all burned and broken beyond recognition. Ugly stuff. Clockwork. At this point, who hasn't? Big Pharma. Power spike. Got them right through their data jacks like a bolt of lightning to the brain. A 1 in a million accident is what they're saying, Mr. Mayhem. And you believe that? Clockwork. Got a more plausible explanation? Mr. Mayhem. Yes, actually, it was a cleanup operation. Clockwork. Color me intrigued. What were they cleaning up? Big Pharma. A secret project that Loftware didn't want anything to do with. You might have heard rumors about it. The project name was Apex. Clockwork. And you've lost me. Mr. Mayhem. Apex. Clockwork. Seriously? That old line of Drek? Big Pharma. I'm telling you, jokers, Apex is real. Or at least it was, until the Whizworm pulled the plug. Clockwork. Come on, Clockwork. We're still decades away from seeing a fully functional AI. You know that. Those Apex stories that have been floating around, they're just some conspiracy nut's wet dream. Mr. Mayhem. Fine. Keep your heads in the sand. Some of us know the truth when we read it. Clockwork. Okay, Clock, I'll humor you, but riddle me this. If Loftware had an armed and operational AI in his claws, why kill it? Big Pharma. You remember what happened to most of Echo Mirage? Clockwork. The crash virus killed them, fried their brains, but I don't see what that has to do with anything. Mr. Mayhem. With the commercial release of the CDT-1000, some security firms are working on counter-intrusion software that could do the same thing. Black IC. You can look it up if you don't believe me. Clockwork. Whoa, scary stuff, man. Big Pharma. Well, the goal of the Apex project was even scarier. IC waits for you to come to it. Apex wouldn't be bound by those restrictions. It could go out hunting, hit its targets when they least expected it. That's why they called it Apex. It was designed to be the apex predator of the digital world. Clockwork. And so, rather than using it to his advantage, Loftware decided to kill it in the cradle? Big Pharma. The Whizworm's no fool. Some things are too dangerous to play around with. How would you put that genie back in the bottle if it ever slipped out of your control? Answer, you couldn't. Clockwork. And then it would take over the world, Mr. Mayhem. Okay, this thread has officially gone off the rails. I'm closing it down for the good of mankind. Captain Chaos. The slow scroll of text comes to a stop. Alice, I'm done. I sort of wished I could have gotten the summary that it could have given me too. That's a shame. The simulacrum jerks back to life, then settles into a neutral pose. There are no official records in the Saterkrupp database to support the existence of the Apex project, but the thing that I encountered was Apex. Of that I am certain. Just as I am certain that Apex was responsible for the deaths of Monica Schaefer, Green Winters, Clockwork, Peregrine, and a score of other Deckers over the last 16 years. Blitz raises his hand. Hold up. Alice, I have a question. I thought they said that Loftware killed Apex. They speculated as much, yes. They were wrong on that count. I do believe that Saterkrupp was developing Apex as a tool for Matrix warfare. I am also convinced that the IT personnel who were killed were the Apex development team. But I don't think Loftware was responsible for their deaths. Apex killed them. That'd be my guess, yes. In the turmoil surrounding Loftware's buyout of Seder Krupp, a number of projects went missing. I believe that Apex was appropriated by a member of Frischwinger's organization at this point. It was then unleashed on its own development team to silence them. Since then, it has provided information control for the Firewing. A pet AI would explain how Frischwinger has managed to maintain her conspiracy and avoid detection for the past 2 decades. Anytime someone gets close, the AI takes them out, scrubs the record clean. So there's your bad news, Alice. Valclair is being held at the Harfeld Manor, but knowing that does you no good because you can't approach the place. I doubt that you could open the door without Apex frying you. We did last time. They were trying to protect their secret. Like Aldrin said, if we hadn't gone down to the basement, they'd have let us go. Apex didn't react to us until Monica attempted to force the door to the basement. Now the cat's out of the bag. They have no reason not to pull out the big guns on sight. Dietrich grimaces. You're right, we can't go back while Apex is in place. The room falls to silence. Finally, Iger turns to you. What's the play, Alice? We can't turn back now. If Apex is standing between us and Valclair, then we need to find a way to kill Apex. Fucking A, boss. I'm in. Did you hear that, Alice? Do you have any suggestions? The simulacrum hitches again. The pause stretches. Finally, it comes back to life. The AI has a kill switch, but Alice deemed any additional contact with Apex to be an unjustifiable risk. Attempting to reach the kill switch would be inadvisable. If Alice was scared of this thing, maybe we should give it a wide berth. It's not an option, Alice. We can't get to the estate without dealing with Apex first, and we have to get into that estate. I don't like this either, but I can't see how we can get around it either. I'm still in favor of the cut and run plan. Butting heads with an AI isn't high on my list of things to do for the day. We can't do that. Glory's right. There's no way around this. If Alice knows how we can kill this thing, we have to at least try. Alright, Alice, tell us about Apex's kill switch. The simulacrum stares at you with dead eyes. Thanks to my close encounter with the AI, I was able to run a trace on it. Through this trace, I discovered the physical address of a backdoor access point for Apex's programming, an old Seder Krupp research lab long since abandoned and fallen into disrepair. The facility is now hotly contested gang territory. I have also determined that a kill switch for the AI exists somewhere in the basement of this facility. I will provide you with a physical address. I don't like the smell of this, Chief. It said that Apex let Alice escape. He turns to address the simulacrum on the screen. Alice, why would a Matrix warfare AI allow you to run a trace on it? It stares straight ahead. Its eyes are dead. I'm afraid that the answer to that question falls outside the scope of my written parameters. The simulacrum stutters one final time, then looks up at you with an apologetic smile. You have now reached the end of this presentation. I've been encoded with a final message from Alice to Alice-Marta. Playback commencing. The simulacrum's eyes go wide and the life floods back into it. It stares directly at you. Alice, if you didn't listen to me before, listen to me now. Drop this. Stop going after Valclair. Get out of Berlin and stay out of the Matrix. I'm telling you this for your own good. That's all I have to say. I'm following my own advice. I'm out. Don't try to contact me again. The simulacrum reverts to its idle state, slumping like a puppet with its strings cut. Its eyes glaze over and its face goes slack. Then the screen cuts to black. Well, that was a lot to take in. We're gonna take a quick breather and come back and, well, I guess discuss what we've just seen. See you guys then.